Hello class, this is Elimination using multiplication. This is all for your book chapter 6 lesson 4, and this is an example off of your homework, the 6.4 skills practice. Okay, so let's work on this example so you could get an idea of how to solve these problems. Now as we've done before, we line up the x's and the y's and the constants. They're all lined up, but in this case, it's not set up for us to where we could just go in and just cancel out one of these, right? Because negative 6 plus 4 doesn't cancel out, doesn't become 0. 3 plus 2 doesn't become 0. So what I'm essentially trying to do is get either x or y to be the same with one of them having a negative. Okay, so I'm gonna look at to change my x's so that they cancel out. Okay, the way I'm gonna do that is I'm gonna grab all of this equation and I'm gonna multiply it by what it's missing for this one. So times 2. And I have to multiply this one, because if I multiply 2 times 3, I get 6x. So what do I have to multiply 2x to get 6x? Well, it's a 3. Now, if I multiply this to each term here, I would get 3 times 2 is 6, and then I will get 2 times 3 is 6. So we'll get it in the form that we wanted, but we're not done yet, because 6x, with 6x, that becomes 12x. I need it to become 0. So one of these has to carry a negative, one of them. I'm gonna put it on this 3, okay? So now when I multiply this negative 3 times the 2, I get a negative 6. And then 2 times the 3, I get a positive 6. So 6 minus 6, that becomes 0, which works out for us to use elimination. Okay, so remember, these numbers right here are multiplied to every term. Okay, so once I multiply these, I'm left with I'm gonna move this way right here. So I have 2 times 3, I have 6x. 2 times negative 6 is a negative 12y. 2 times a negative 3 is a negative 6. Negative 3 times a 2x is a negative 6x. Negative 3 times a positive 4y is a negative 12y. Okay, and then negative 3 times 30 equals negative 90. Okay. See how by multiplying these numbers to the whole equation, okay, I get a new form of an equation, but it's the same as this one's. Okay, all I'm doing is raising it by a factor of 2 and a factor of negative 3. Okay, so here this works out perfectly because I have 6x minus 6x becomes 0. So I canceled out my x's. Now I have to solve for y. So negative 12y minus 12y is negative 24y. Okay, equals negative 96. Okay, all I'm doing is taking the sign of the number. So negative 6 minus 90. Okay. Once we do this, we're gonna divide by negative 24. Okay, and I get y equals, let's see, 96 divided by 24. Remember, negative over negative becomes positive. Okay, so this ends up equaling 4. Okay, great. Now I'm gonna plug this number in to one of these equations. Okay, I'm going to choose this bottom one. Okay, so because I need to know what x equals, right? So for every y that I see there, I'm gonna, instead of writing a y, I'm gonna write a 4, okay? Because now I know what y equals. So I'm gonna rewrite this bottom one. It doesn't matter which one you choose. Choose the one you like. So 2x plus 4 times whatever my y is. I'm gonna symbolize that with the red marker here. 4. Okay. Equals 30. Okay. So I rewrote this equation here. Instead of writing y, because now I know what y equals, I plug in that 4 there. So now it's 2x, and then I have to do PEMDAS, right? I have to multiply these two first. So when I multiply, I get 16 here, 30. Then I'm gonna subtract 16 from both sides so that I can leave x by itself, right? So once I do that, I have 2x, this becomes 0, equals 30 minus 16 would be 14, okay? Then I'm gonna, if I want to solve for x here, and I want to get rid of that 2 that's being multiplied to the x, I have to divide by 2. Divide by 2, okay? Therefore, these 2 over 2 becomes 1, okay, which is just x. And then 14 divided by 2 is 7. So the way we write these generally is in a coordinate system. So x, remember it's x, y. So my x would be 7, my y would be 4. And this is where the solution meets, right? That's the solution, where the two graphs meet, okay?